Welcome to the Full Armor of Game podcast, episode number 24, with the Czar of Dating and the Texting Prince, also known as Adam. Today's episode is energy vampires, or as I like to call them, brujas, which means witch in Spanish. So if you ever meet a girl that just sucks the energy from your life, you call her a bruja. That's usually what I call these women, the energy vampires. We've all heard of that terminology. Guys calling certain women energy vampires. Okay, we're going to break down what these types of women are like, the characteristics they exhibit, and what to look out for.
You bring the crowns and heads of conquered kings to my city steps. You insult my queen. You threaten my people with slavery and death. This is Sparta! Sparta!
Put on the whole armor of game.
This is where we fight!
And these shield boys!
Sparta!
These women, they essentially deplete you by sucking the life out from within you. They prevent you from reaching new heights. They are the obstacle in the way of you reaching the zenith of your potential in life. So they put this invisible barrier above your head to which you cannot pass through. It's absolutely bulletproof. These are these types of women, men. So if you're in a position where you're with the girl right now, and for some reason you can't seem to reach your full potential in life, something is dragging you down, she is the balls and chain in the relationship. You need to let go of her. That's the telltale sign that you are dealing with a bruja or an energy vampire. Adam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think about it. Think about it in a really simple way, guys. After hanging out with a woman, are you drained and exhausted? Like after spending time with her, are you mentally drained and you just feel like depleted, exhausted? That would be a drainer, an emotional vampire sucking the energy and life out of you. Versus, are you refreshed, recharged, energized after spending time with her? So that's a quick little way you can think about is, are you consistently feeling just like, oh man, that was a work. Like, man, I got a headache. That was just so much, mental strain on me. Or are you feeling good? Like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready to attack life. That was good. I feel refreshed. I'm ready to go conquer the world.
Yeah, be careful with women like that because they look out for specific types of men. You can be a target for these women. They can't target guys like me and Adam. We're immune because they don't fuck with guys like us. We could see their bullshit a mile away.
We got garlic around our neck at all times.
And we're a giant red flag to these women, especially if they know what we do. They'll avoid us like the Black Plague. They're like, nah, I can't fuck with those guys. Let me go fuck with someone who doesn't have game, who isn't complete, who's weak, who's vulnerable. So for them, sex is transactional, meaning after you sleep with the bruja, an energy vampire, she's going to take all the energy you have from within, and it's going to fill her up with life. Meanwhile, you're depleted as a man, and you can't understand why this is happening. But when you sleep with a woman who's feminine, who's high quality, who's uplifting, there's an even exchange of sexual energy. So when you have sex with these types of women, it's uplifting. You feel different. You feel recharged. Certain women can take that away from you. If you're dealing with that type of woman now, I understand, right? I've been in a relationship with one of my exes not long ago, and she needed validation 24/7. She needed sexual validation. She needed every single type of attention I can give her. She wanted to have sex at least 2 to 3 times in one day. I'm not even kidding. So she would sleep over. We would have 45 minutes of sex the night before. She wanted to have sex in the morning, have sex in the shower after the morning sex, have sex after the gym, have sex at night again. And when you're busting that many nuts, you feel depleted. You have no energy left. This is why the whole don't watch porn, no fap thing is popular. It's not because they don't want you having sex with women. It's just that it makes you tired. You become lazy. You don't want to do anything after. Okay. If you're dealing with this type of woman, she is an energy vampire. You shouldn't be busting nuts 2 to 3 times a day. That shit gets draining. It gets tiring. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation, Adam. I have. And I don't care how beautiful the girl is, no matter how much you give them, it's never enough. They want to take. They want to take more from you. Okay. Are they pleasing you? That's what they're worried about when they're giving you oral. They want you to feel that satisfaction. They want you to enjoy it constantly.
Yeah, something I have here for just emotional drainers is kind of what he said there, is the take without giving. And we hear lots of different messages from different guys who are like, hey, my girlfriend just, expects me to take her out every single time. And, sometimes you guys are like, she doesn't even say thank you. She doesn't even offer to pay. She doesn't even offer to help me out with anything. And you can hear it, the energy in their messages, even how drained they feel, because that is a very draining thing. So if you're around a woman that's all take without trying to give, trying to refuel you, replenish you in different ways, then you're dealing with an emotional vampire. And sure, there are going to be some situations where you as a man are financially able to provide. So she might not have the same type of job and she might not be able to financially contribute. And those situations are common and that would be fine. But is she working to give you things in other ways, like giving you peace of mind? Is she building you up? Is she doing things like making your bed for you? Is she trying to help you clean up? Is she trying to tidy things up when she can? Is she trying to contribute versus just take, like some of the common situations with, if there's a girl with a sugar daddy where she's literally just there to take and not really give him anything other than a tiny bit of attention.
And one of these ways that women do not replenish you is by putting you down constantly. You have to be with a high quality feminine woman that is uplifting you. You don't want to be with a woman who is always downplaying everything you say. She's argumentative over the dumbest shit, over the smallest things you say. She always has to go against that and say something negative. You need to leave that woman immediately. Even back in my beta days, I have never let a woman talk to me in a disrespectful way, no matter what position I was in, fellas, whether I was broke, didn't have a car, didn't have a place to stay. I had more self-respect for myself because I'm an uplifting person. I need someone who's going to uplift me. I'll give you an example. Tell a woman you're with any type of goals that you have, whatever it is. If you want to be a doctor, a surgeon, if you want to be a full-time influencer, whatever it is, if she downplays your goals and aspirations and she says things like, no, that's stupid, that'll never work out, just work a 9-to-5 job, be a regular dude, you're never going to reach that potential, why even bother? If she's downplaying your goals within reason, I'm not telling you to go be a drug dealer and go work for the cartels in Mexico. Of course, that's just fucking stupid. Okay, she shouldn't be supporting you within those goals. But if she's downplaying any aspirations you have to leave that woman. A good quality feminine woman is always going to want what's best for you, because in the end, who reaps the rewards? She does. So why wouldn't she want what's best for you? Why wouldn't she want you to succeed? Why wouldn't she want you to reach your full potential and motivate you and help you out and tell you that's a good idea and push you to do better? Because in the end, if she wants a family with you, if she wants to marry you and have a house, why wouldn't she want to reap those rewards of her man being successful? That's another example. And I would leave that woman immediately. I don't have time for that bullshit if she doesn't believe in my aspirations or goals as a man and she downplays them. Remember
Yeah, and if
this. Remember this, Adam. Before you say anything, I want to read Proverbs 21:19. Okay, we're going to get biblical with you. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. It's better to be homeless than dealing with a toxic, angry woman, fellas. That's in the Bible. So God wrote that. I didn't write that.
wise words. Another thing I think of when you think of again, kind of like an emotional vampire is she trying to isolate you? And so, that vampires work in the dark. So if a woman is trying to isolate you from your friends, your family, or your hobbies, especially though your friends and families, people that know you really well, if she's trying to isolate you, she might be worried that those other people are going to be talking sense and kind of shine a light on the games that she's playing with you. And a lot of times, if you have a very manipulative person, there it's going to be hard for the other person that they're manipulating to see it. But your close friends and your close family are going to be there to watch out for you, warn you, and try to talk some sense into you when you can't see it for yourself when you're in that situation. So if you're dealing with a woman that's trying to constantly isolate you, she doesn't want you hanging out with certain friends. No, I don't want you to hang out with that person. She's trying to pull you away from family time. Like if you go to, like I do once a month, every month I meet with my relatives from the state over. Like we'll do a monthly family gathering. If a woman was ever to try to pull me away from that, that would be a big red flag for me, trying to isolate me from my family. That's something that I'm always going to go to. That's my support system. I always want to be around them. So watch for someone trying to isolate you. If you're finding that some of your favorite hobbies or your close friends and family, you're slowly spending less and less time with those people, that's a warning sign to try to step back and just kind of reassess the situation you're in.
It's funny you mentioned that because I had that perfectly written down, just like you said. A woman that divides and conquers through isolation from your positive friends, family, supportive figures in your life, your hobbies, your passion, your activities. She's ready to move in and paralyze you with her venom as the final blow. My best friend's girlfriends usually had issues with me, not because I'm a scumbag or I'm a bad influence or I'm a terrible person. It's because I saw them for who they're worth. And they don't want me chirping in my best friend's ears and giving him game. That's why they were separating my closest friends from me, because they know I could spot bullshit. I have game. They don't want me saying certain things to my best friend that's going to doubt his woman and the relationship he's in. A lot of women will do this, okay? And I'll give you a great example. Men will do this too. It's not just women. Jim Jones, the infamous cult leader. What did he do before he forced his followers to commit suicide by drinking the poison Kool-Aid? He had them all move to a secluded area and isolated them where they would be easier to control and manipulate. It's the oldest trick in the book, fellas. So if a girl wants you to move into her place all of a sudden, away from your family, away from your brother, away from your friends, that's what she's trying to do. And this exact same situation happened to me. I didn't see it coming. She wanted full control. She wanted me away from my father, who saw her for what she's worth, and she kept talking shit about him. But he saw her true colors, and he was trying to warn me. It's not because he didn't like me. It's not because he hated me. It's because he didn't like her, and he could see right through her, and she understood that. So what was she trying to do? Keep me further and further away from my father. She didn't want him chirping in my ear. It's the oldest trick in the book, fellas. That was a good one.
You have another one, or I got a couple others as well.
That was a very good one. Okay, I have one of the biggest issues is where nothing you do can make your woman happy. No matter how much validation you give them, they still want more, more, and more. you have an energy vampire on your hands. They're all about short-term gratification. What can they get from you? That's all they want, fellas. They don't think about it long term. So what happens is you're in this constant state of stress and frustration throughout the day, wondering, how can I keep feeding her validation and happiness? You can't even think straight throughout the day because you're so caught up and worried about how are you going to keep her happy? How are you going to keep giving her validation? How are you going to make her content? Another bad situation you guys do not want to be in. You are dealing with an energy vampire.
Yeah, I wrote that something about that too. Kind of, you also mentioned a little bit earlier on with, well, I think your one of your exes, that she needed that constant validation and attention from you. And if you're with somebody that needs that constant validation or attention, um, one maybe trait you could say is if she loves to talk and gossip and tell stories and be the center of attention in a lot of scenarios, that's going to be kind of a warning sign that you might have one of these women on your hands. And again, the problem is if you keep giving her attention, it's never enough. But if she always needs that constant attention, these are the type of women that will always flirt back. If they're getting positive attention, they're always going to flirt back. That's just their natural reaction to things. So now you're going to have to deal with so many different headaches along the way, because especially if she's a beautiful woman, she's going to be approached constantly. Guys are going to be flirting with her. And if she's always needing attention, it's going to be programmed into her to just constantly flirt back. And then you're going to have to fight all these little fires along the way, and it will just drive you crazy.
Yeah, so they're filled with drama. They're constantly arguing, bickering, or picking fights over the smallest things. She amps up your emotions in a negative way where you can't even think throughout the day clearly. These women are attracted, they're addicted to negative emotions. This goes back to this one girl I was with in 2022. I met her on Hinge, a dating app. Nothing wrong with her. I love the girl. Okay, I still respect her, but she started becoming an energy vampire in my life. She sucked the energy from me with things like calling me 20 times in a row if I didn't answer once. Or she would FaceTime me constantly if I wasn't answering, and she kept being on my ass repeatedly. If I didn't answer a text message, she would send me 20 more in a row. She would start FaceTiming me. She would start calling me. And the more I didn't answer, the more she kept calling me, fellas, questioning me nonstop, not giving me my space or freedom. She wanted to have sex multiple times in one day, which was depleting me as a man where I had no energy left whatsoever. It was not a good position to be in. She constantly needed validation sexually and emotionally. She was so empty inside. She had this insatiable appetite of eating all my energy. So a lot of these women that are energy vampires, they're hollow. They're empty inside. So in order to fill that void, what they do is they feed off of your energy now. They'll take whatever you can give them. And if you give them an inch, they're going to keep taking a mile.
Something you mentioned earlier in that is good for guys to think about on the other side is like how Czar was feeling like she was constantly like calling him, texting him, trying to figure out what he was doing. And that felt like her trying to suck his energy. So again, guys, think about that on the opposite end. When you're doing the same type of things to women, that we can call it needy, we can call it all of that type of stuff. But again, to her, it's going to feel like you're trying to suck her energy. You're just trying to constantly get her attention. And so she's going to back away because just like Czar, it feels weird on the other end of that. It just feels like, chill out, give me some space. I need to relax. And so when you keep coming after women like that, that's how they're feeling on the opposite end.
There's a healthy girl that I'm dealing with now. There's a big difference. If I don't answer her, she doesn't blow up my phone. She doesn't keep constantly texting me. She knows I'm going to answer her when I'm ready. That's a healthy, good woman, fellas. But if there's a woman that's constantly accusing you of cheating, asking you questions, where were you? Why didn't you answer me? Why didn't you answer my FaceTime? And you're like, God damn, like, let me breathe. Holy shit, you're imprisoned within this energy vampire you're dealing with. Get the fuck out of that situation, fellas. There's no way you can fix that. You have to get out. I'm telling you, I've been there before. People don't change. That's who they are.
Another thing to watch out for would be if a woman is like high and low, and the polar opposites can come at you at any given moment. For instance, people would say something like love bombing, kind of like Czar said at the beginning. If that girl's just like, she's making you feel like you're the only man in the world, you're on top of the world, you're on top of the mountain. She can love bomb you, make you build you up so high, but in an instant, she can hate bomb you and make you feel like the biggest scum on the earth. When there's those type of crazy polarities, high, low, high, low, high, low, it's very difficult to have peaceful moments in your life with a woman like that. So it's great if a girl can build you up high, 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 but she's not just then crashing down into the low. If she's more consistent or stable versus you're the best man in the world, and then the next moment, I hate you, you're the worst man in the world. Going on those huge polarities, that is going to suck your energy real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think a man is able to handle those types of highs and lows. It's very draining to do that as a man, especially when a girl is love bombing you. And we don't mean when a girl says to you, "Oh, you're the best guy I've ever slept with. No guy has ever made me climax like that. I feel like I'm in a dream world. It feels like a fantasy." No, women say that because they have game. They say that to stroke your ego. That's not what we're talking about. If a woman truly likes you, you'll hear those types of things from her. But take it with a grain of salt. Doesn't mean she's actually being truthful. Women have game too, fellas, especially in the sexual department, because they know that's where their power lies. Now, another one. This is very important because a lot of guys always ask me this question. Why do I keep attracting the thoughts, the promiscuous women, the 304s? Why do I keep attracting these negative energy vampires? I'm going to answer that right here. You're attracting them because that's who you are. You're a broken man who doesn't have his shit together or who isn't complete. You're always going to attract the brujas in your life. There's something particular about you that is attracting these types of women that me and Adam don't attract because they don't fuck with us. They know we're confident. We have high self-esteem. We have game. We deal with high quality women. We can see through bullshit a mile away. Why would they fuck with men like us? But they fuck with you because they know you're weak, and these women are known to feed off the bottom men. They're the catfish of the water that's filled with men. They're the bottom feeders. And guess what? You are an easy target. You're easy to take advantage of and control. You have low self-esteem. And those types of men, guess what? They attract energy vampires. These women are like heat-seeking missiles that hit their targets. Especially when you just get out of a relationship with a woman, you're easy to spot for these types of women because you're broken. You just got out of a relationship. Your confidence, respect, and self-esteem are all low because healthy feminine women, they want a man who is complete, not broken. And I want the woman who is complete and not who has the potential whilst simultaneously being broken at the same time, because I'm not being Captain Save-A-Ho. I'm not going for those types of women. So why would a high quality woman go for you if you're a broken man who doesn't have his shit together? I'm not talking about having a bunch of money because you don't need money to get women. But as long as you're building yourself up, you have the confidence, you're working out, why would a low quality woman go after a guy like you? They usually don't. They don't fuck with men like that. And a great example is you always hear about this rehab romance or the guy that just got out of prison. He meets a girl, the guy's still broken, he's an easy target. These women know that. That's why they go after you. So you have to be very careful. Don't even start dating or getting into relationships unless you've built yourself up as a man, where you have that confidence, you have high self-esteem, you know your worth. You know where you're heading in life. You're learning the game that we're teaching you. These women will avoid you. Go back to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Why did she choose Johnny Depp? Because he's a broken man. And she saw that. She saw that low self-esteem he had. She saw that he was a weak person. That's why she went after him. Amber Heard is a bottom feeder. And the disrespect got so out of hand that she literally popped a squat and shit on his bed. Do you know how broken of a man you have to be for a girl to take a shit on your bed? I've never attracted those types of women. I don't know about you, Adam. I've
No.
never had a girl poop on my bed. Anyone else out
I
there?
hope I never see the day.
She's a bottom feeder. I see women for what they're worth. I could see that a mile away. Would I ever date and fuck with a woman like that? No. Would she ever date and fuck a guy like me? No. Because I have self-worth. She doesn't go after guys like me or Adam. And no disrespect to Johnny Depp, but I can see he's a broken man. And he's going to keep attracting these types of women.
Yeah, part of all this too is like I get a lot of guys that will message me specifically for online dating or texting advice. And part of what Czar would say about how him and I aren't attracting these certain types of women is like if a guy shows me a conversation and he's trying to initiate, he's trying to ask her questions and she's replying with like, haha, and like that's all she gives, or she replies with like a really like one word answer and like really short stuff. And these guys are like talking to me like, how do I get her to, I really want her to respond. I want all that. It's like to Czar or I, like when I'm messaging women, that's part of my whole game is that if she's responding like that, I am not responding. That's like that to me is so much energy that I have to put into, and she's not trying at all. That becomes an energy vampire. So those are the women that I'm just happy to just not reply to, not deal with, and I don't care. I move on. So the guys that are in those situations and a girl's giving them nothing and they're trying to combat that and like force their way in. Well, even if you do force your way in, she senses how hard you're trying, that now she's going to continue sucking all your energy, making you do all of the work. So a lot of this type of stuff is like preventable from just playing it cool and not being desperate. But when you chase after something and the signs aren't there, you're going to deal with an energy vampire. And some guys don't even see that. They're just so into the chase and all that. Like, oh, this is really fun. It's challenging. It's like, I'm looking at it going, why are you wasting your time on that? Well, then maybe a few months down the road, they get on a date or two and they're dealing with these same type of problems. She won't ever text me back. She won't initiate. It's like, well, yeah, that's because she was doing that at the beginning and you played into that and you kind of walked your way into her energy vampire web. So it's not surprising, but those are the type of things that when you see signs like that, you just have more self-respect to not even pursue it. It's like, oh, that's all you gave me? No, I'm done. On to the next. No big deal.
Yeah, they prey on the weak. And a lot of men will say, well, I hear this bullshit all the time, Adam, and it pisses me off so much. I get so amped up when I hear this bullshit from men. Well, if she wasn't with me at my lowest point, why would I want this woman when I'm doing well and reaching my pinnacle or when I'm at the highest point of my life? That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. When you're at your lowest point and you first meet a good quality feminine woman, why would she want to fuck with you? Why? That makes absolutely no fucking sense. The only women that are going to deal with you when you're at your lowest point are the energy vampires, the brujas, because they prey on the weak. You have to ask yourself, why is this girl fucking with me when I'm at my lowest point and I have nothing to offer her? I'm not complete. Ask yourself that question logically. That is different from when you meet a high quality woman, you're at your highest point, and now you've reached your lowest point. Something happened within your life where you hit a low. If that woman stays with you, that is different. That's a high quality woman. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you being low when you meet her in the beginning of your life. Why would she want to fuck with you That's what I'm trying to say, fellas. You're dealing with an energy vampire because a healthy, high quality feminine woman, they're not going to fuck with you. They want to fuck with a man that's complete, that helps them build confidence, that helps them build their self esteem, that you can uplift, that can uplift you, where you can share your completeness with one another.
All right. So one I got here as well for an emotional vampire is if everything's going good, everything's all fine and dandy, and then something happens where she doesn't get her way and she throws an emotional tantrum. And this can look like a toddler or a teenager. I mean, you'll definitely see videos like this on the internet, but I know there's a lot of stories like this will happen where a mature adult wouldn't act in that way. Like she wants to go to Starbucks, and you're like, no, we're not going to go get Starbucks right now. And she freaks out and throws an emotional tantrum over something so small, so petty. That is a huge warning sign. Like that's an emotional vampire. If you're going to have to put out fires like someone that's going to throw emotional tantrums like a toddler and they're an adult, if you see something like that over something small, get out now because you're going to have a lot more problems coming at you as life gets more complicated.
Yeah, you're going to have to sleep with one eye open.
Yeah.
God forbid. And I would also watch out with her being next to sharp objects. If you have a
Yes.
woman like that, it's only going to build and build until she gets those crazy eyes and snaps like Jodi Arias. If you don't know who that is, go YouTube it and yes, watch the documentary.
The last one I have, I don't know if you have any others, but the last one I have on my sheet is a woman that tries to control you with your own desires. And people can be very smart about this, both men and women, but if a woman uses your desires to control you, like using touching, kissing, or sex is a reward for you, and she's trying to control your behavior with your own desires, that is going to be a very, very draining relationship. And again, we talk about this, or you might see a lot of stuff like this where the women use the husband chore chart, where when the wives drop a chore chart for the husband, and if he does 30 minutes of weeding, he gets to touch my butt. If he does blah blah blah, he gets a romantic night with me. And like, so she's using your desires, your actual sexual desires, your attraction, your inspiration for your wife. She's using your desires against you to control your behavior. That is going to be a long, hard fought battle. It's going to drain your energy completely. And this is a situation I tend to see a lot in long-term relationships, or especially marriages, where guys have to work for the reward. And then it happens where when she knows you're in that cycle with her, she can make you do more and more work just to give you a little bit. And she's able to control you by your sexual desires or your desires.
Yeah, that's a really good one. When everything becomes transactional between you and the woman, that means she married the beta male provider. Okay, women, you guys know women inherently do this. They'll marry the beta male provider, but it's a double-edged sword because they don't find him sexually attractive. So everything is transactional with that man, where she literally becomes an energy vampire. It's not because you're becoming needy. It's because you just don't have game. You're ugly as fuck. You're a beta male. And she doesn't view you that way. That's a bad position to be in. And it's very similar to a guy being with a woman where she loves him more than he loves her, or she's more attracted to him than he is attracted to her. And you hear this bullshit dating advice from many dating coaches out there, Red Pill community, a lot of people out there. You'll hear this advice. Make sure that you find a woman who loves you more than you love her, or who likes you more than you like her, or who's attracted to you more than you're attracted to her. Let me tell you guys something. If you're not attracted or highly attracted to the woman you're with, you don't care about their needs, nor do you care about being with them. So it becomes homework just being with this woman, sleeping with her, seeing her. It's the it's one of the dumbest advice I've ever heard in my life. Number one.
Oh,
Okay.
I think we should explore this thing because I would agree with that advice. I think a woman has to like a guy more than
I
he
don't.
likes her
I
for it
don't.
to be
And
successful.
and when I finish, let me know if you agree with this, with the reasoning. Okay. It requires little to no game if you can't keep the nines or tens that truly knock your socks off. If you can't keep the girl that you're highly interested in, where you just can't keep your hands off of her every time you're next to her, you're that attracted to this woman, her energy. She just does it for you, and vice versa. You do it for her. She can't keep her hands off of you. She adores you. She looks up to you. It's mutual. It's not one or the other. I think that's a cop out. If you can't keep those types of women, you don't have enough game, because I've been with those types of women and it was the best feeling in the fucking world where everything just fit together. If you've never been with a woman whose hands you can't keep off of, you're not with the right woman, fellas. If you're not with a woman whose presence alone excites you as a man, where you look up to this woman, you adore her, you don't admire, she should admire you, but you adore her and she admires you. If there isn't that mutual transactional energy between you two, that sexual energy and that sexual attraction, you're wasting your time. Because I've been there before. I've been with women I wasn't that into or super attracted to. It just became a chore for me to even sleep with them, to see them, to set up plans. I didn't really care about them. I didn't put in the effort. Now I became the energy vampire. And guess what? They want more and more out of you. They're not getting what they want from you. Okay? You both actually become an energy vampire, because she wants more and more from you since you're not providing her with what you're supposed to be providing her with. And it becomes a fucking chore to you. And that's my reasoning for that. I think that's stupid. I've been with women where I couldn't keep my hands off of them. They couldn't stop kissing me. I felt that energy. It feels surreal. It's something that I hope a lot of guys experience in their life. I do, because I believe so many people settle in today's society. But when you truly feel like you two can share your completeness with one another, it's a healthy relationship, and you two are attracted to one another equally, you love one another equally, it's one of the best relationships you can ever have, especially if you have the game to remain in your frame and you know how to keep this girl. Like, why would that be an issue? I think for any guy out there, if you know game, you know how to remain in your frame, you guys can all keep these girls that are nines and tens that knock your socks off.
Yeah, well, I see. I would say that part of maintaining the frame is making it so that she's always more interested or likes you more than you like her. I still think that's a staple. We can disagree on this one, but um, because I still go back to hypergamy again. If a woman thinks she has you, she's going to look for bigger and better. Well, if a woman never fully thinks that she has you because she likes you more than you like her, that's when, to me, the attraction can remain high long term because she's always looking up to you. Not, because there's going to be those nights where you can't keep your hands off her. Well, okay, well, now she doesn't feel like I want, okay, well, he's coming after me, all that. Then can easily slowly shift into where you're over pursuing a girl. So we can agree to disagree on that one, but I think I still live by that staple that a man needs to have, right? I love my purpose, my mission more than I love her always, and that is what's going to keep her attracted to me. If I love her as much as she loves me, my purpose, my mission is slipping out the way some way, and then to me, she will start to slip a little bit more as well because my direction is now towards her versus continuously improving my mission or my goal in life.
See, but that's what I thought. But if there's a healthy balance and she understands that, she wants what's best for you. She's going to find any way to help you fulfill your purpose and to make it easier for you. And with hypergamy, I think it's human nature, even me and you, we all want the best option out there. We're not going to settle for less. So if I feel as if this girl is the best option I could do, she does it for me. She knocks my socks off. She's compliant. She's beautiful. She's traditional. She has all the values I want in a woman. What else would I need? What else would I need? Especially if she's young, fertile, 25, 24. I wouldn't want anything else if I truly wanted to be in a relationship with her. It wouldn't feel like a chore hanging out with her and seeing her. Because I've been with women that are very beautiful, very attractive, but they didn't do it for me like certain other women did. So in the end, it felt like a fucking chore just going out to dinner with them, even though the sex was amazing, even sleeping with them. But the next morning, you want them to leave, right? With the
Yeah,
girl
no,
you truly
I
love.
understand. I understand. I definitely understand what you're saying. If there's, yeah, and I'm not saying that guys shouldn't like women or like the woman. I'm just, in my opinion, the woman to have that to have me engaged in wanting to continuously see women, she needs to constantly be like, I really, really like this guy. And then that makes me enjoy hanging out with her when her attraction's really high. And so she's always coming after me a little bit more than I'm coming after her. And that keeps her engaged. And because she stays engaged, that actually keeps me engaged rather than if a girl just tries to push and pull, oh, I loved you really hard last time. You have to love me hard today. I'm like, nah, I'm out. That's not how I play it. So if a girl is constantly looking up to me like that, that keeps me enjoying to hang out with this girl
Mhm.
because then it fuels me, it recharges me instead of me having to play this back and forth game with her.
See, that's why I love this podcast because we always have different views. We'll always have different views. So, guys, comment down below or on the YouTube channel. I'm going to post this live on YouTube as well. Let's hear your thoughts on this specific topic. That would be interesting to read the comments and how they feel about this certain issue right
Yeah,
here.
well, and the only thing I would say too, Zara, is like every guy that's been with a 9 or a 10 knows that eventually, like it's human nature that she's not going to literally blow your socks off every single time you're around her, every time see her. Like every guy that's been with a beautiful woman knows that, okay, well, eventually after that beauty, oh wow, she's really attractive, that wears off. Now I need a lot more to keep me engaged with this woman. So I understand what you're saying, but I still yeah, I just believe that
See, not if you keep it
a
once
woman
a
has to be
week.
more into a
I
man.
tell guys, if you keep it once, maybe twice a week of seeing her, guess what? She's still going to be chasing that validation. You two are going to be excited to see each other. You give one another time to miss one another. But if you're constantly seeing her 4 or 5 days out of the week, she's sleeping over, she's staying there until the next day, sleeping over again. There's no mystery anymore. But that's why
Yeah,
you need
but
to
so
have
bizarre if
game.
yeah, bizarre if you are like equally on par, really, really liking a girl, and you only want to hang out, and you're hanging out with her 2 days a week. What happens when you're equally on par when she, doesn't text you for a few days and it slowly pulls back? If you're equally invested like that, I feel like human nature wise, you're gonna go, well, I gotta see her, and I just think it's gonna slip up. Like I think that if a guy has the girl is like if they're both equally looking at each other the same way, I think the guy will lose because again, women want bigger, better. They want men that have vision, men that are looking beyond just the relationship, beyond just her. Like a guy that's still like, hey, I really enjoy spending time with you, but I gotta get this done. The guys that are like so invested in a woman, a lot of times those guys are like, hey, this is great. We're just partners in life and let's explore life together. I think those guys always will lose a piece of that drive and ambition that woman was highly attracted to him in the first place because of.
But you see, that's where game comes in, right? If you want to keep them, that's where game comes in.
I
Even if
agree,
you're highly
but Zara,
attracted to her.
I think game is being able to keep a woman highly attracted to you without overdoing it to where you're showing those signs that you're more into her than she's into you. So I can
No, but
really enjoy
when I see
spending.
her, I know, but when say if you see this girl once a week, when
Mm.
you're with her, you give her your 100%. She gives you her 100%. You're all over, you're having a good time with her, you're kissing her, the sex is amazing. After
Yeah,
that,
so that's where I would go. My 100. I think part of the game aspect is I would not be all over her. I want her all over me. And I think that that's part of what keeps that high attraction is that she can't keep her hands off me. All guys can't keep their hands off of women. So the guy that can focus and discipline himself that he doesn't have to have his hands all over a woman, that woman goes, I can put my hands all over him and it's safe because he's not losing his cool. He can still focus when I'm all into him versus the guys that are all over women. They're equally so infatuated. That girl puts her hands all over him. He stops what he's doing. He puts his hands all over her. And to me, that makes for a fun night, but it doesn't make for lasting long-term attraction because that guy is getting off of whatever they're doing. Even if it's as simple as watching a movie, she makes that guy off of, she distracts him and gets him equally invested in her. And I think that over time, that recipe will make a woman lose attraction.
We can talk about this for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I'm basing this off 2 women that I've met in my life who I've never felt the same way about with any other woman. And I'm viewing it from that point of view where we both equally were attracted to each other. The magnetism was there. You can't keep your hands off of her. She just does it for you sexually. It's not just a booty call. It's not just a girl that you're dating to kill time. No, this is a girl that you truly love and she truly loves you. But I think there's always 2 ways of doing things. There's the beta way of putting your hands all over her, telling her you can't live without her, all that other bullshit. And then there's the alpha way of being the leader and showing her that you're a masculine man that loves touching her, that loves the feel of her skin, that that can't stop kissing her. And a lot of women are insecure where they need to feel that type of validation just to know that they are beautiful, that you do love them. So there's many different situations.
Well, I would just say then
different.
If they were like that, if you were that into them, what happened that it ended?
Oh, I explained it on the last podcast with the guy flirting with her on her Instagram, and I lost my cool.
That's where I think the problem is because you were equally invested, liking her as much as she liked you. A comment like that,
it was many comments.
And then
many comments.
Well, yeah. Stuff like that though, right? Then that gets you off your rocker, and then that girl goes, "Okay, there's a chink in the armor." Versus if she's always a little bit chasing you a little more, she likes you a little bit more. If a guy sends a comment like that to a girl, in my head, I'm literally like, dude, this girl's so into me. It's like, you want to explore that option, go for it. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't think you will, but if you do, like, that's on you. I don't think you will because you know that I'll back off and you'll probably lose me. But that would be my mindset because she likes me more than I like her. And I'm able to then be like, that's fine if that's your choice. But if I'm like fully invested with her, one little move like that, and you just, then it's so easy to make a snap emotional move that now sends you backwards. And then she goes, oh, I look down on this guy because he wants me when I want him.
And I overreacted. I didn't handle that situation in a logical way. Because like you said, I did really love her. I didn't want to lose her. The jealousy was there, but now you learn from your mistakes. Don't ever get emotional. We talked about that on the Masculine Traits podcast, and I explained this story in depth of what happened if you guys want to know what not to do. But this girl is also 21 years old, still prime. So you knew she wanted the sexual validation. I tell guys all the time, do not get in relationships with women that are younger than 25 when they're not past that yet. Because younger than 25, they're going to get as much sexual attention as they can, especially on social media. That's just the way women are biologically hardwired. They're most fertile at that stage. So, of course, they're going to get as much attention as they can.
So, okay, here's a good question. If you take a man and a woman and they both have a purpose in life, and let's just say that the woman, like they both have a career ambition in life. Who do you think over the long haul is going to be better to be focused on that and like stick to it in the long haul, a man or a woman?
Oh, the man.
Career. Okay,
man,
so I agree with that. So now that means that a man's career ambition at some level, there's more focus on that for the man than the woman. So then that means that the woman's focus in life might not be that career ambition. Her focus in life might be finding the man that she wants to start a family with. So if that man and that woman now have equally liking each other, well, if they equally like each other, right, that guy's that little sliver of him having that more drive and ambition. Now, if he likes her and her whole goal is to get in a relationship, and he likes her just as much as she likes him, now I feel like there's a crossroads there because that guy is losing the drive for the purpose or ambition ahead of that. See, I think if it came down to it and a woman asked me, it's either me or your mission or your purpose. Because I'm not so invested in her like she is with me, I can make that choice easily. No, it's my mission, my purpose. If you try to take me off that, you're gone. But a guy that's like his whole goal and purpose in life is just to love a woman equally, like she loves him. She says your purpose or me. That guy goes you, and now right, he's cutting off his purpose for that girl. I think that's the danger of why I think a guy always should have something above the woman, which obviously God, but like in a material sense, a drive, ambition, something he aspires to more that's more important than her.
Yeah, so what do we talk about, right? And I mentioned this. You need two things when you're going into a relationship or when you're in any relationship. Number one, she has to know that you have other options. I'm not saying cheat on her, but she has to know that you can get another girl or several other girls. She has to know that. Number two, she also has to know that you're willing to walk away. You need those two. If you have those two, she'll always see you as being greater than her. You'll always have more value than her.
So how do you balance that second one if you are equally in love with her, she's in love with you?
Well, because a healthy, high-quality feminine woman, she knows your purpose comes first. She's focusing on her ambition and goals as well, her passion in life, whatever she's compassionate about. But when you two get together, everything just aligns. Everything fits perfectly. Okay, that magnetism is there, that spark of attraction, that sexual tension is still there. You guys enjoy each other's company, but when you guys separate, you can still call each other, text each other, FaceTime, whatever. I'm not saying waste your entire day just focusing on this one girl. That's where a lot of guys get caught up. They get too comfortable. That's when you start losing. That's when the girl starts kind of disappearing, pulling back, knowing that you're starting to lose your superpowers. But if you're the man who's on a mission, I think you can balance it out. If you have the game to keep this woman remain in your frame, you can still love her like she loves you. You're attracted to her like she's attracted to you. Why would this girl leave you? Why would she leave you? Unless you make the stupid mistake I did, which was fucking dumb.
Well, I know, and I agree with you, but I just fundamentally think you make those mistakes if you equally love a girl as much as she loves you. That's when you make those mistakes because, again, you're not putting anything else above her. Therefore, how is she ever going to get that feeling that you could leave her at any time? I mean,
by setting your boundaries. By setting your boundaries. So I should have told her. I should have told her, hey, listen, if this guy keeps commenting or keeps messaging you, because I know they were probably talking on the side as well, messaging each other. I don't know that 100%, but I have a feeling they did. I should have told her I can't be a part of this anymore. I should have set my boundaries right then and there because she was still young. So she wasn't with the man that was teaching her all these things. Right? The younger the woman, the easier it is to program her. I didn't do that. Right? Older, mature women, they know. If they're with you, they're going to just tell guys to fuck off. They're like, listen, I'm with someone, because they've learned from their mistakes. But when a girl's that young, you guys have to be careful. Your game has to be very fucking tight. And there's someone in our seminar we know of who's very young, has a young girlfriend, and he has to be on point because they're still at that young stage. She's at that young stage.
But I don't think we would ever tell him to love her as much as she loves him.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
but then it goes
tell
back
him
to
that. But you can't tell a guy that. But Adam, you can't tell a guy that. Either you do or you don't.
I think that a guy has to, a girl has to like a guy, be more interested in a guy than he is in her for it to work.
But doesn't ask yourself this, wouldn't that become a chore for you to just make plans with this girl, see this girl, even care about her the way you would about a girl that likes you equally, that loves you equally, that's attracted to you equally? I wouldn't give a shit about that girl if I didn't care about her the same way she cared about me or liked me the same way I liked her. I literally would not give a fuck at all.
Well, yeah,
Seriously.
I can care about women and really enjoy spending time with them, but it doesn't mean that they I love them on any way as equally as they love me, or I'm interested in, because again, that makes it so what if she doesn't want to hang out, and we set up a date, she doesn't want to hang out, she has other things going on, it's like that doesn't affect me. I have other things that are more important than her. I can work on my business, I can do all these other things, I can read books, things that really fuel me, versus if I love her equally, I'm freaking out that whole time. I'm like in such a bad place and I'm making such bad moves because of that. So even in your situation with that girl where you said she might have been talking to him on the side, well, I would say if I'm the top woman in a girl's or the top man in a girl's life, and her aspirations are to get me, though I don't even have to worry about her talking to other men. If she does it, she's not interested, or if she was, then she's not as into me as I thought she was. But I just think that when a woman has that goal in mind of getting that guy, and that guy is not letting her know that he's equally in love with her as she is with him, then I think that she's always aspiring to try to get that guy. And then she's literally on her best behavior because that is what she wants. But as soon as that guy goes, I love you, I can't keep my hands off you, to me, she has to, at some level, subconsciously go, okay, there might be something better. This guy might be really cool, but this guy in my DMs now, I got to at least check this out because this guy wants me as much as I want him. And again, I just think women are programmed to want higher. And so the guys that show her that they're equally in love with her, I think that it's just a matter of time before that guy is gone.
Okay. Listen, we'll
Anyway,
we'll
that we just
we'll
went into a
stop.
big old
No, we'll stop the disagreement
yeah.
because I realize we can keep going with this, which is a good podcast. I want other men to get involved and tell us how they feel if they ever been
Yeah,
with
I
that
think it's
girl.
good when we have a disagreement too. Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
to hash things out. I think I would sum this up too with the emotional vampires is the best advice is you have to pay attention to actions and not words. So never reward clever excuses or explanations for why somebody broke their word or promise. Always track their actions. If you can track actions and not get caught in the words and the explanations and the excuses, you track actions, then you'll save yourself from getting into too much trouble. When you're with a woman, you track her actions. How is she behaving? Not what she's saying to me, but how is she behaving? Is this draining me or is this invigorating me? That's a kind of an easy, simple way to avoid the emotional energy vampires.
Yeah, is she motivating you or influencing you to become the best possible version of yourself without the need to be forceful? If she has that power to make you a better man, if she's uplifting you, supporting you, giving you great feminine energy, that nurturing, compassionate energy, if she's listening to everything you have to say to her, that girl is a good quality woman. So you might have been a guitar player back in the day. So this girl influences you to blow the dust off your guitar, start playing music again. She influences you to blow the dust off your diary or notebook so you can start writing again. You can start painting again. You blow the dust off the piano, your hockey equipment. You're like, let me start playing again. That's the type of influence I'm talking about. Like she just does it for you. Okay. She motivates you without even being forceful. She just has that type of superpower. That is one of my qualities that I look for to know whether this woman is irreplaceable or not, if she's a hidden gem, because you will not meet many women like that, fellas. I promise you. So when you do meet a woman like that, learn the game and learn how to keep her. Thank
Amen.
you.
Well said. All right. Thank you guys for listening. For what? Episode 24?
24.
Yep. Episode 24. All right. And yeah, you let us know in the comments which side you fall on. And we'll be back here next week for you guys.
Yeah, if we missed any, please, your experiences, let us know. The YouTube video will be up. Make sure you follow us on Instagram as well. Thank you, guys. Remember the terminology. If you're dealing with an energy vampire, you call her a bruja, which is a witch in Espanol. Remember that. Take care.
I think a lot of Western women will use that as a compliment now. Oh, I'm a witch. That's right.
You're right. Wouldn't
Which is
surprise
a
me.
good, yeah. If she loves that title, hey, there you go. She just screamed red flag at you, and you can run away.
Yeah.
All right, take care, guys.